Hello everyone, my name is Bree and welcome to Documented Journey. Today I wanted to talk about the Demi palette from Art Toolkit. Now, as most of you know, I am very familiar with this company. Maria is the owner from Art Toolkit, and you can get them at arttoolkit.com. The palettes normally come with a pouch like this. This is the large pouch and this is the small, so the Demi. I have both sizes and I just wanted to kind of compare and contrast both sizes just so you know. This is the large size, which is actually the same size as a business card. I'm getting a business card for you to see. So here is my business card, and ultimately what it is it's kind of like a business card holder. So that's what these little palettes are the size of, and it's really cool. It has some mixing space here and then you can fill it however you want. This is my extra palette, I guess you would say, and I was going to do a little demo, but I realized that I needed orange, and orange is in my extra palette, so I got this one out for you. Plus it's really good to see how big it is compared to the Demi. So remember, this is a field size notebook, so this is kind of the comparison to the field size, field note size or pocket size. I'm trying to think if I have something else for you. This is a B6 notebook right here, B6 size, and this is the size of the pocket palette. So you can kind of see the difference. What else? So this new one is what she came out with. This is the Demi palette and it is $26. It does come with 12 mini pans. So these are the minis right here, these little guys. It measures about 2 3/16 if you want to be exact by 1 3/4. It is actually half of the size of her regular palette. But then if you obviously open it up, it's the full size of, almost the full size of the regular palette closed. Let's see, what else can I tell you? Packaging is a reusable cloth. So this is what I was talking about earlier. It's a drawstring pouch. So it comes with all the little pans, 12 of them. So as you can see here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 11 and 12. This is just a little extra mixing tray. It's the regular size tray that I added in here because I chose just 10 colors to put in here. I chose the colors I chose because, one, I kind of know my style and I know for the most part what colors I like to use, and so I chose my essential palette, and I can go over them if you are interested. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go over them just so you can see. Let's get a separate notebook. Hang on. Okay, so I have a separate notebook. And I want to do some swatches for you. I have 2 brushes here. These are by Escoda. They're the Prada line and the Ultimo line. They are both synthetic. One, the Ultima, kind of like acts as squirrel, and the Prada acts as Kolinsky. So my first here is Pyroll Scarlet. I love that red color. It does a really good job mixing with yellow ochre and making like a dingy orange. The next color I have is yellow ochre. These are all Daniel Smith, by the way. I can mix these two together and show you. So the Pyroll Scarlet is really pigmented, so you just need a little bit to make it like to make the orange. It's not very pigmented. Let me try again. All right, that's better. So I really like those 2 colors. Moving on, we have what is this? Raw Umber, I think. Yep. Add some water to that. Raw Umber. And then this is phthalo blue. Nice and bright. I like that color because I feel like you can water it down and get a nice sky. Unrealistic, but nice. Olive green here, my favorite. Totally my favorite. Pyroll green. I like those two pyroll colors even though they're totally not realistic. I just feel like it adds a little something something to my journal pages. This is brown ochre, I think. It's just a neutral is what that is. This is quinacridone rose. And this is Payne's gray. And then my last one should be carbonzel violet. Yeah, I love that color. This color, that purple, is like my favorite go-to shadow color, and I use a lot of greens, so I use a lot of purple as a shadow. And I have probably gone through a couple tubes of this, and I don't go through tube watercolors very often, so that's pretty exciting. But that is what I chose in this little Demi palette. I really like this palette. I feel like it's totally doable. I did want to swatch this orange because it's gonna be something that I'm gonna be using maybe some of my paintings. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so I was just gonna kind of walk you through a painting. These colors right here, it's, like I said, it's really your own personal preference. I do a lot of nature landscapes, so minus the orange. So this color palette is very good for me. I can even, a really good way to make orange is to use pink and yellow. So we could even try doing that, which I haven't. Let's do this. I'm gonna clean this off so it's true to what we're doing. Okay, and let's try this quinacridone rose. Just put some of that on, and then my trusty ochre, yellow ochre. It makes more of a brown or red. Maybe I just need yellow ochre, more yellow ochre. We'll see what that does. Yeah, so there's your orange. I don't know, I wanted to maybe try and pull out this true orange because I was gonna paint a leaf, and I wanted maybe some oranges in it. I still rather like that as opposed to these two, but hey, that's the whole point of mixing colors, is trial and error. So, okay, my journal, let's get that out. So again, these little Demi palettes are really cool. They're small and they're about $20. So, $26, so they're pretty nice. I am painting my fall sheet, or my fall sticker sheet. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I have been kind of like sneak peeking some of the fall sheet images, and I'm gonna be painting this one up today. And I'm using my real brushes, which never happens. So I'm gonna start with some raw umber, and I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna paint all these dark areas. Now I've already laid down my map, pretty much is what I guess I'm calling this. My map is like my sketch with some ballpoint pen shading going on, and now I'm just going to blend that out. I'm using this the Prada right now because it just goes to a really nice point, and it's good for like more of a detailed situation, and right now the stem is a little bit more detailed. I'm gonna whip out this, this is the Ultimo, my bad, and I'm gonna start with a base of yellow ochre. I'm gonna mix it into that orange color that we made just a second ago. It'll probably dissipate. So this is just gonna be my base of my leaf, because I do want to have some green, some red, and some orange, because it's gonna be fall color sheet or sticker sheet. So, and with watercolor, I I don't mask anything. I don't use masking fluid or anything like that. So I am painting around my highlights. I'm not going to try and paint into the white spaces. I leave the white spaces there. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to, because this is kind of like a wash, I want this to have a nice bleed on it or blend it out nicely. So I'm coming in and I'm just kind of like, I don't know, blurring out where I laid that color and kind of like fading it into the highlight. I'm wiping off, if you see me wipe my brush, I'm wiping off the color a little bit. And I might need to add more water to my brush because you do want to, blending is all about like kind of like adding a little bit of clean water to blend it into the white space. Okay, now it always starts real light for me. I'm all about going light first and then getting darker. I am gonna put the dark cap on the acorn. And if you hear kids, they are home, they're in the background. So I'm gonna make the acorn, it's gonna be like a reddish tone, but my first initial layer is gonna be this yellow ochre. Again, leaving some white space because you can always go over that white space, but you can never bring it back. Okay, so now I worked on the stem, then the leaf, then the acorn, and I'm gonna go back to the stem. I'm gonna add some shadows into it. So I'm taking that same dark raw umber color, adding a little bit of water, making sure that I can get a fine tip on this brush. And I am going into all the dark spaces again, just like I did the first time.
Are you painting my whole leaf?
Yeah, I'm gonna paint the whole leaf.
The whole leaf? Could I see which one?
Oh, I didn't paint, no, I just drew this one out. I'm not painting the whole leaf, no. It's still in my journal. I'm saving it.
Why?
Because I like it. I'm gonna press it to see if it stays. Okay, so now I'm just blending out those areas that I kind of came into, and it's gonna get a little bit darker, it's gonna get some depth, and that's what we're looking for. I'm gonna go back to that more squirrel-like brush. This is the Ultimo, and I'm gonna mix up a green somewhere. Probably in this little palette, this little thing right here. I'm mixing between olive and a little bit of pyroll green just to kind of give it a pop. And I'm gonna come into, again using my map, just coming into those dark areas that I've already done and smushing this color around.
What's in here?
More supplies.
Oh. Jenny, you have 2 towels?
Yeah, 2
papers.
towels. That's a to-go paintbrush.
Does it lose those 2?
I don't need that right now. Can you put that down?
And there's that big one? Yeah? Yeah, Mom?
I'm gonna mix a little bit more up. That I might have just got too much of the pyroll, but that's okay. We'll see what happens. It's a little bit different in color. Missy, hey, be careful. So we're just gonna kind of go over the top of the other color. That's okay. Pulling it into all those dark spaces using my map. My map, okay. You moved everything, didn't you? Okay, now I'm gonna blend it out.
To make it watery.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it watery so that way.
It's just water.
Yep, and then if it needs to be cleaned off, I clean it off. I dab it back on my towel so I'm not like saturating my paper too much with water. I love water with watercolor. I use a lot of water, and I'm painting on 68 GSM Tomo River paper. And I'm blending this out on this side now.
Ooh. Okay. You'll have that so then...
I only have 2 paintbrushes.
Wait.
Oh, well, and the travel brush, you're right. Okay, so I've done pretty much that.
So you have 4.
Oh, you're right. You're right, I have 4. Okay, now I'm gonna clean this brush and I'm gonna move to the acorn, just adding the depth in there a little bit.
Brown.
So I'm gonna pick up the raw umber and I'm gonna go into my sections where I've added some value. I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit because I use a lot of water. And now I'm going to add some of this pyroll scarlet to my brown, my raw umber. I'm gonna try and make like a reddish brown. And I'm gonna bring that into my acorn. And then I'm gonna blend it out. Hard work. And then I'm gonna maybe blend out the top a little bit. I had a little bit too much water there. So we might have to redo that one, which is fine. All right, I'm going to leave the stem and I'm gonna move into the leaf again. I want to add this red color up in here, maybe a little bit of orange too. And I think I'm gonna mix the orange like we did earlier with we're gonna mix some quinacridone rose and some yellow ochre to make that orange color. I really liked that. I feel like when you use the colors in your palette to mix the colors for your painting, it becomes a more cohesive piece. So I'm just gonna pop in some of this in the areas that do not have any shadow on them. So I'm gonna kind of just pop it in here a little bit. I want it to look like this leaf is changing for fall.
Who are you talking to?
The camera. And then I'm gonna blend it out. I don't know their names. There's lots of names.
Whoa.
Anyone and everyone that wants to watch. All right. So we'll let that dry and we'll kind of come back into the acorn. Hopefully I can get some of those, get the acorn to be a little bit deeper in this area because it just needs some depth. So going back into where my little cross hatches were, and then gonna go and kind of add some depth here where the cross hatching is. Just following my map. Missy brought her chair, or her stool, so she could sit and watch, I guess, yeah? Sit and watch? Okay. Now we're gonna I'm gonna take some, kind of like this red, I'm just gonna kind of mix all this together with a little bit more of pyroll scarlet. And I'm just gonna go like this. I'll just mix it all together, right, Missy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
To make one color.
Yep, to make one color. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna come in here and I'm gonna dab a little bit.
It's making light brown.
Yeah, maybe make it a bit more red.
What? Woo.
Just some pops of color here.
And could I see what's in here?
Yeah, it's just a pin.
What side could we open it on?
Just pull it. So,
Whoa.
here. This is what she's playing with. This is a Travels Company ballpoint pen. Here you go. Okay. And so we're dabbing away at this red. We're kind of just like letting it, it's a wet on wet technique. So you're just gonna let it kind of do its thing. Be organic. I mean, the leaf itself is organic anyway, so it'll be a perfect combination.
Who could draw this little thing?
Yep. I actually write with that little thing. I'm gonna clean my brush, and then I'm just going to come back in here, and I'm just, if like places didn't get blended out, that's what I'm doing. I'm just blending out those places because I don't like things to be too harsh of a color on a color, you know? I hope that makes sense. But I'm just blending it out because it's a leaf and I don't want to have too harsh of lines on the leaf. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Prado and I'm going to get into all the details of the green leaf. How I'm going to make the shadow is I'm going to add some of the olive again to my green, and then I'm going to add the purple, the Garbanzo violet. And this creates like, I don't know, like a really, here, let's see if you can see this. Like a deep green. Yeah, I think you can see that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add it into the dark parts. Hey, Missy. She's playing with my click eraser. That's what you guys hear. Can you stop that so they don't hear that too? And we're just going to add it into all the shadows. And then we'll come in with a clean brush and we will blend it out. Oh, you'll paint after I'm done, okay?
Okay, when are you gonna be done?
In a little bit.
I'm just here so I can try to paint it.
All right, so clean off my brush. This one doesn't hold as much water. It's better for details, like I said earlier. But you still want it to be clean. You still want it to be kind of full of water. It's a little bit deceiving. And then I blend. And I want to make sure that if it's too dark, like this area, I can like scrub at it and pick some up. But I want to make sure that I'm blending it out because, again, I want it to look pretty organic with it being a leaf. This is, like I said earlier, Tomo River paper, so you can't like really go at it and scrub at it, but you know, it's beautiful paper, so you can do a lot on it. I'm impressed. So cleaning my brush because my brush had too much green pigment on it and just blending it out. I'm going to blend this red into here a little bit more so it has some different tones. She's looking at all my things. Aren't you, Missy? All right. So, I like that a lot. Do you like that?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. All right, let's go back into that acorn and try and deepen something up. I feel like it's flat compared to the leaf. So, add some more depth here and here to the bottom. Add some little dots. And I think we're good.
That's all?
That's all, I think. So this is the Demi palette. I kind of wanted to show you it in action because it is so tiny and cute, and some people get intimidated by tiny. You don't have to be intimidated. You can do marvelous things in a tiny journal or with a tiny palette or with all your travel tools. So I hope you gained some inspiration. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you like to see how I kind of like create my stickers before they actually become stickers. You know, everything gets pulled from my journal. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, everybody, I'll see ya.